Hey there, focused entrepreneurs, and welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you're building a business in 2026, I know you've been feeling the squeeze. Ad costs are going through the roof, and those algorithms, totally unpredictable. So our mission today is really simple. We're going to hand you a definitive playbook to build an organic growth engine. We're talking about a system that actually generates leads and revenue for you without having to rely entirely on paid advertising. We're going to break down exactly how to construct this sustainable, free traffic system right from the ground up. Let's get into it.
Digital marketing coach Scott Redgett really hit the nail on the head here. While pay-per-click, or PPC, is obviously great for those instant dopamine hit results, relying on it 100% is a huge trap. Think about it. If every single click to your website is paid for, you are essentially just renting attention. You don't actually own your audience. What you own is a really expensive subscription to Google and Meta's profit margins. So that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How can you reclaim your growth and build a business you actually own? How do we make that massive mental shift from just renting space on ad platforms to building a permanent, compounding asset that actively brings customers to you organically?
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start by debunking the myth of paid ads, then lay down a rock-solid foundation with search and directories. After that, we'll dive into amplification through video, how to build true authority via media coverage, and finally, we'll tie the whole shebang together into what we call a compound growth engine. All right, part 1, the myth of paid ads. Time to stop renting and start owning. Moving right along to part 2, laying your foundation with search and directories. Look, before your business can go viral, it fundamentally just needs to be, well, findable. And this concept brilliantly illustrates the path of least resistance when it comes to SEO. Instead of fighting tooth and nail for super broad, highly competitive head terms like, just the word shoes, you want to target highly specific, long-tail keyword intent. Think along the lines of optimizing for a very specific brand and style of running shoe for flat feet. Now sure, these longer queries might have a bit less total traffic, but they are way easier to rank for. Plus, that traffic is incredibly qualified because the searcher knows exactly what they want to buy. But hey, SEO isn't just about tweaking your website anymore. It's heavily about directories. And the best part? Claiming these platforms is completely free, but in 2026, it is absolutely mandatory. We're talking about your Google Business Profile, Bing Places, which, by the way, captures a massive 30% of US desktop searches when you combine it with Yahoo and DuckDuckGo, Yelp, and Apple Maps. Why does this matter so much right now? Because today, these directories are the primary data sources feeding AI-driven discovery tools like ChatGPT and Siri. If your data isn't here, to the AI, you literally don't exist. But here's the catch. Simply claiming these profiles isn't enough, especially your Google Business Profile. It is absolutely not a set-it-and-forget-it thing. To really maximize your local SEO, you have to actively maintain it. I'm talking about posting updates weekly, adding fresh photos every single month, and, this is crucial, responding to every single customer review. Google actively rewards profiles that show they're alive and kicking with way better visibility.
Okay, part 3, amplification through video and social.
So, you're findable. Great. Now we need to actively reel people into your brand. Get this, 44% of marketers are now using short-form video as their main fishing hook. Why? Because the algorithms on platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts literally do the heavy lifting for you, naturally pushing these videos to brand new audiences for free. If you create problem-first videos, meaning videos that immediately address the exact pain points of your target audience rather than just spouting generic tips, the algorithm is going to aggressively share your content. But wait, length totally matters here. The data shows that the absolute optimal sweet spot for these short-form videos to keep viewer retention high is a brief 11 to 17 seconds. You have roughly 3 seconds to hook the viewer with some punchy on-screen text or super compelling visual before they scroll right past you. So keep it punchy, solve a quick problem, and get out. Now, keep in mind, not every platform does the same job. Your strategy really needs to break down by intent. As you can see, TikTok and Reels, those are your top-of-funnel engines. They're built for broad brand awareness. LinkedIn, on the other hand, is where you build professional B2B authority using things like educational carousels. And platforms like Reddit or Quora, that's where you bypass the crazy algorithms altogether by directly answering niche questions from people who already have super high intent. Oh, and speaking of high intent, here is a ridiculously underrated organic tactic for you. Spend just 15 to 20 minutes a day, leaving thoughtful, genuine comments on other people's posts within your niche. Good, valuable comments drive way more profile visits and warmer leads than just stuffing your own posts full of generic hashtags. It builds this really quiet but incredibly consistent momentum.
All right, let's talk about part 4, authority, and specifically, earning media coverage.
Listen, you do not need a massive budget or some expensive PR agency on retainer to get in the news. You can do this. On the proactive side, you just need to create content that journalists are actively hungry for. This means publishing original research, aggregating industry data into quick, bite-sized chunks, or doing something called newsjacking, which is basically injecting your own fresh perspective into a story that is already trending online. And a phenomenal competitive hack? Literally just see where your competitors have been featured recently and pitch those exact same media contexts.
Then there's reactive PR, where you basically flip the script and let the journalists come to you. By monitoring free media coverage services like SourceBottle or Quoted, you can see exactly what kind of experts reporters are actively looking for right now. If you match their requirements perfectly, just provide your background and give them a link to your digital press kit. If you follow these simple steps consistently, you're going to secure some seriously powerful backlinks and media mentions that instantly elevate your brand's authority.
Finally, part 5, the compound growth engine.
When we actually stitch all this together, search, social, and PR, we see this massive, stark contrast in how you can run a business. On the left side here, we have renting attention. That means relying on paid ads, stressing over vanity metrics, and depending on social algorithms that can literally change overnight. But on the right, we have owning attention. This means actively migrating your audience over to channels you actually control, like an email or SMS list, or even a dedicated mobile app. Guys, this is how you generate stable, sleep-at-night, predictable revenue.
So how do you actually make that jump from a rented platform to your own ecosystem? You have to give the viewer a really compelling reason to leave the social app. Use crystal clear calls to action in every single piece of content you make. Offer a lead magnet, like a free checklist linked in your bio, or an interactive quiz that pushes them to a really simple landing page. If you post an amazing video but you forget the CTA, congrats, you just got views. But with the CTA, you turn that fleeting vanity metric into a concrete lead sitting right there in your database.
Always remember this golden rule of digital marketing. Social media is absolutely phenomenal for discovery, but it is terrible for ownership. Use your social channels to cast a wide net and capture all that attention, for sure. But your ultimate endgame goal must be to actively move those prospects into an ecosystem that you completely control. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on today. Take a hard look at your current marketing efforts. Ask yourself, are you building true compounding assets for your business, or are you just renting attention from someone else's platform, paying out of pocket for every single click? It's time to stop paying the subscription to big tech and start building your own permanent, organic growth engine today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I seriously challenge you to go out there and start claiming your real estate across the web right now. You've got this.